Hello, my name is Tom McNamara. I'm Mayor of the City of Rockford. I am here for our Heroes and Sheroes podcast, and I'm really fortunate that we have one of the City of Rockford's amazing employees, Michelle, with us. But Michelle, could you tell us a little bit about you, what department you work in, and what's your kind of day-to-day job here at the city?
So my title is Media and Marketing Coordinator / Public Information Officer for the Police Department. Okay. So I handle all the communications for the police department, pretty much everything. Wow. When people say, hey, Michelle, what do you do? I tell them that I'm like the Lorax, but I don't speak for the trees, I speak for the police. Yeah. So if you're watching the news or you're hearing a story and it says Rockford Police Department said, that's pretty much, it comes from me for the most part.
Fantastic. And I should mention this. So this specific podcast and this next kind of series of podcasts, we're going to be really focusing on those individuals who are active and engaged in our employee resource groups. So you may hear us say the letters ERG, that's just simply the employee resource groups. But before we get to that, I want to know a little bit more about you. Can you, as much as you're feeling okay with and welcome to do, could you dive in a little bit about just your family?
Sure. So I was telling him before we started that this is awkward for me because I'm used to being on the other side. I'm used to being the host. So I did the other side of media for almost 20 years at B103 and then at WTVO. So I'm used to, being the one asking the question. So this is kind of strange.
I like it this way better.
Yeah. I've been with the city almost 4 years. I have 2 kids. My son, Davin, just moved to Idaho. He's going to go live his best life out in Idaho. He's an East High School graduate, and he graduated from William Woods University. Awesome. And then my daughter, Avery, is a sophomore at Loyola, wow. And she went to Boylan. So, and I'm not from Rockford.
Is Avery into sports?
No, she went on full academics.
Oh, full academics, okay.
She did play basketball at Boylan. She was a basketball kid for many years.
Good at basketball.
Yes.
All right, that's what I thought.
Yeah, tore her ACL senior year and decided, thank God we were books before ball, people. I'm telling you, those academics, the GPA and stuff, super important.
So you had a really wonderful career before you came to the city of Rockford. So one more question, if you don't, I hope you don't mind. What kind of drew you to this position? I mean, it's a much different position.
Yes.
Has some similarities, right? But much different position. What drew you to the position that you're in now?
I know this is going to sound cliche and cheesy, but I just felt like I wasn't doing enough for my community. Media was fun and it was great. And I mean, my ties definitely helped me in this position. But over the years, I just felt like I could be doing more. I wanted to be more involved. I did a lot of volunteering, was on some boards. And when this position came open, actually, Christy, that used to have this position, I worked with her, and she's like, Michelle, this is perfect for you. You really should think about this. And so I was like, okay, media's fun, but it gave me purpose. And I know that sounds cliche and kind of strange, but I love it. And people are like, how do you, how do you handle it? How do you handle the stress? And it's like, I don't know. It was like meant for me.
You do a really wonderful job.
Thank you.
And I would add, because you're probably not going to add it, the hours of Michelle's job is not an 8 to 5. It's not a 7 to 6. It's literally 24/7. And I can attest to that personally from communications me and you are on, late into the evening or very, very early morning hours, 7 days a week. And just want to say before we go further, thank you for the work that you do.
You're welcome.
Fortunate that you are serving the citizens of Rockford.
Thank you.
So, want to dive in a little bit, right?
Okay.
So this is about our employee resource groups. Can you tell me what employee resource group are you part of?
So I am the advisor for the Allies for African Americans, ERG. Also, I was a former member, turned into an advisor, and I'm also a member of the Kaleidoscope ERG, which is our LGBTQIA+ group.
So what is an advisor to our group?
Well, an advisor is essentially, you have a chair, you have a vice chair, you have a secretary. There's an advisory board. You're going to meet Rebecca from the fire department. You're going to meet Wendy. We kind of oversee the daily functions of the ERG, making sure that the mission and the purpose are being followed. And just that overall, okay, do we have the agenda out? Did we get the minutes out in time? Is everybody who wanted to be involved? So, I mean, it's kind of like an overseer, but we're just kind of in the background, making sure things run smoothly.
Yeah. What motivated you to get into this position as advisor, but also joining the group in general?
Yeah.
What made that motivation for you?
So the first group I joined was the AAA, which is the Allies for African Americans, ERG. As a woman in an interracial relationship, I mean, many years, I've seen the struggle. I've seen the issues, one that he's gone through, the issues that, we've gone through together. So that was important for me. As far as being an advisor, Director Hunter came to me and she's like, I'm starting this advisory board. I really think this is a role that you can play. I really think this is something that you would be really good at. And I mean, are you going to tell her no?
No one says no to Sharice Hunter.
Absolutely
That's for
not.
sure.
So, but I love it. And then the Kaleidoscope ERG, my uncle passed away from AIDS in 1991. And we were told then that it was cancer because you didn't talk about it. You come from a big Irish Catholic family. It just wasn't a thing. It was, kind of behind closed doors. And that was really important to me. And being an ally, I also have a cousin who's married to a man, but was married prior, has 2 kids with a woman, and just getting to know them and just feeling like it's just important. My allyship is super important to me, and just like they're just everybody else. They're regular people. Like looking at you, I'm not judging you by like your marriage or your sexual choices or anything like that. You're the mayor.
Hopefully I'm just Tom.
You're just Tom.
So you've mentioned...
That's probably too much information, but like, I'm okay.
No, that's perfect.
I think the why
appreciate
is
you sharing.
important.
It's, I think, absolutely critical, someone to state most important. So you mentioned 2 words. You mentioned ally and you mentioned allyship. For those who may not be familiar with the words, or they're familiar with the words, but they're not really sure exactly all that it encompasses, what does that encompass to you?
So being an ally is... I'm not a member of an underrepresented group, obviously. You look at me, I'm not African American. So right away, you know that I'm an ally. Being an ally means then that you're active in that group. You do purposeful things in that group. I'm one of those people, like, I don't want to be just on a board and sit in meetings. I'm a call to action person. I'm hands in. I want to get my hands in. I want to get my hands dirty. I tend to take over sometimes. So I think that's maybe why the advisor role came into play.
Okay.
Just saying.
Gotcha. So
that's it. So that's anybody can be an ally. If there's something you feel strongly about, or there's a group that maybe you want to build your own ERG, that's possible here as well.
Absolutely. We would certainly encourage that. What would you say, and I'll take a step back and just say, I think at the city we've made a lot of wonderful strides, but we also have quite a bit of room to improve. And that's us as a community or us as an organization. And I think sometimes that organization piece gets lost, that we are an organization. We're not a business necessarily because we're government, but we're a large employer. We got about 1,100 employees. What do you think we as a city could be doing better to inspire, motivate, encourage, whatever word you want to use, to get more people more employees who want to engage in DIB, maybe through our employee resource groups?
I think it's important that, like you said, we have 1,100 employees. And if you think of the small amount that are involved in ERGs, I think it's just, so diversity to me is, and I heard this statement, is diversity is being invited to the party. Inclusion is being asked to dance. So it's like, okay, and then belonging is, and then it kind of further goes on with belonging is dancing like nobody's watching. Like everybody has these unique traits. Everybody's creative in their own way and can bring so many things to the table. I think our employees are our biggest advocates about working for the City of Rockford. If somebody ever asks me, like, what's it like working for the city? I'm like, it's amazing. Our benefits are amazing. The people we work with are amazing. You look at when you get our newsletter and you look at the anniversary dates of people, it's shocking. Some people have been here, 30, 40 years. The lower amounts, they just grow and grow and grow. Yeah. You don't see a lot of people fall off. So just feel free to be involved. And you know what? It doesn't have to be, you don't have to plan an event. You don't have to be the person behind it and doing all of it. You can just be a member and just feel like you're a part of it because you are a part of it. Just take that leap, send us an email, call us, ask me about it, tell you all about it.
Yeah, and I'll just add one other piece to that. So I try to meet with each of our ERGs on a quarterly basis. Honestly, what I get out of it most, occasionally they'll say, hey, can you work on this? And yes, we absolutely want to do that, but I just learn. And it's really fun if it's learning about broader items, or if it's just learning about the amazing individuals who make up the city as an organization. That's been absolutely a lot of fun.
I love when we get on a WebEx and I look at all the people that are on there, and I'm just like, hey, and so many, I don't want to say we're disjointed, but like your office is here, my office is on East State Street, you've got community action elsewhere, everybody's kind of all over the city, so it's nice to see we all work for the city, but yet we do so many different things.
Absolutely. Kind of my last question, you touched on it a little bit, but maybe go in a little bit more depth as we close here. What advice do you have for those who want to be part of an ERG, or maybe want to at least find out if they want to be a part of an ERG? How can those who are watching this today really get involved?
You can send me an email. You can look us up in the city email. You hit the to button and go in and look at our addresses. For the AAA ERG, the chair is Bo Cheney. You can reach out to Bo. For Kaleidoscope, it's Patrick Murphy, Emily Schmidt. You can reach out any way in the city directory, find anybody, and I'll happily explain it. We can go out to lunch, we can go out have some drinks, we can go hang out at any of the events. If you get an email, don't delete the emails. I know we get so many emails. We get a lot of emails. Don't delete the email. Look at it, because it might be something you might be interested in. It might be something fun coming up that you just have to show up for. Yeah. That's it. Just show up. Call, email, we'll get you there.
Awesome. Well, as we close, I just want to say again, appreciate the work that you do every day.
Thank you.
On a daily basis, it really makes an impact, and a lot of selfless effort on your part to improve our communications and our partnerships throughout the community and internally. And hard to believe when you said 4 years. I was like, 4 years, man.
I know.
I'm sure every day seems like it flew by, but appreciate it. I saw that look.
4 years, 40.
all the same. Appreciate all that you do in the kind of day job. Also, though, really do appreciate how you always get engaged in so many different aspects of your job. And to make our organization a better organization. And I want to say thank you to everyone who's watching. Again, we'll be doing the series of Heroes and Sheroes podcasts on our employee resource groups. And lastly, just on behalf of myself, City Council, and the entire administration, and certainly Sharice Hunter, who you should never say no to, thank you for all that you do. Appreciate
You're welcome.
Hello, my name is Tom McNamara. I'm honored to be the mayor of the City of Rockford, and we're here with the Heroes and Sheroes podcast, and we are really fortunate. We have one of my favorite City of Rockford employees with us today. We have Wendy with us. Wendy, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been at the city, and what department you work in?
I've been with the city for almost 9 years.
Wow.
I started as an analyst, and I did that for about a year. And then I moved to the manager position, which is the role that I'm currently at right now.
Awesome. I'll ask you, if you're enjoying it. No, that would be an unfair question to ask you in front of me. But
I really like it,
actually. So today we're talking in this podcast specifically, we're talking to individuals who have been really impactful and engaged with our ERGs, our employee resource groups. Can you tell us a little bit about the ERG group that you are part of?
I am part of Somos, COR, which is the Hispanic group here in the city. I started the group as, and I was the chair of the group when it first started, and then I moved into the advisory role. I have to say I've had a great experience with the group. All of our members contribute to the success of the group and our activities, and I'm very pleased with the work that we've done so far.
Awesome. And so now you're the advisor, right?
Yes.
What does an advisor do?
I basically provide support to and work side by side with the chair of the group.
Okay.
This is a new role for the chair of the group in a leadership position. So I coach or chair to make sure that all of our activities are aligned with our vision and that move in the right direction.
Awesome. Who is the chair right now?
Miguel.
Okay.
Miguel Hernandez.
Fantastic. So I guess a couple of quick questions just so folks, we often hear the word ally, and I think some people know what it means, and then I think some people think they know what it means, and some just don't know. What does being an ally mean to you?
For me, being an ally is someone that provides support to your group, whether it's just by showing up to your events or by contributing to make the events happen. You know, we have allies throughout the city that help with permits, get everything moving, that help with setup in our events, and just people that we work with on a daily basis that just show support. And, you know, we have a great allies in our group that always show up to our events, always contribute, even if it's for 10 minutes to just be there. And we're very grateful for those people.
Wonderful. What motivated you, Wendy, to get involved in Somos?
I was really excited actually to hear about when Charisse told me about the idea of having an employee resource group. I was kind of excited to have that and have a group of people that we can grow together, you know, have professional development here in the city, and especially having a space for a sense of belongingness here too. So I was really excited when I heard about the group.
That's wonderful. What's Somos's mission?
It's to promote diversity. Diversity, pretty much have our group members grow, professional development through volunteering work and some community as well.
Wonderful. So, I mean, one thing I've been really impressed with your work and the entire team's, the ERG's work, of Somos's work, is the number of kind of different initiatives you've already taken on in a really short period of time. We were joking with Michelle from the police department that she was saying that you are the epitome of ERGs at the city, and I would tend to agree with that. Could you touch on some of those events? I mean, in my head, I'm thinking of, you know, you've had youth participate in artwork. I've had the opportunity to speak with youth in council chambers. You've done events citywide, utilizing parking trucks and food trucks. Can you talk a little bit about those events?
So we kind of started the planning at the beginning of the year when we have to present an agenda to our human resources department. So what Miguel and I worked through this time, we said, okay, let's see, everyone in our group wanted to do something with kids, wanted to contribute to development and some sort of capacity with kids. So we had a member from RISA reach out to us last year.
Really?
And asking if we wanted to participate. And we were like, yes, tell us how we can contribute. So continuing that, this time for this year, we planned, okay, we're going to do something with the kids. You know, someone from our group mentioned, you know, it would be nice if we showcase some of the art, you know, in school, sometimes through art class. They're very talented people. So then we came with the idea, okay, well, let's just have then during the Hispanic Heritage Month, let's just have 2 events and let's just focus on those 2 events. We want to work with kids that are growing up, especially because we know they're the future of our community, but also we wanted to give them a different outlook from what they are used to see maybe at home. A lot of people don't know if I want to work for City Hall, where do I go? Or what are some of the careers that we have
Right.
here at City Hall? Do you have to be professional? What kind of trades? There's everything here, really. We have
Right.
everything, all sort of careers in here in the city. So just giving exposure to the kids to, hey, maybe I want to do something like this, when I grow up. And if you start with the kids when they're little, they grow up with that.
That's for sure. So at the city, I think we've made some progress in some areas, but we also have lots of work to do, right? And I say that as a community, but also us as an organization. What do we, in your opinion, as a city and as that organization, need to be doing to inspire more people to embrace our ERGs and to support our ERGs?
I think probably recognizing the differences in people, the differences in cultures, in experiences. I always say that change always comes from the top, and I mean, you guys have done a great job starting this employee resource groups, but it kind of has to continue, throughout all the layers down. Managers and supervisors have great impact on their employees, and if you have someone that collaborates and some sort of allows for employees to participate, more employees will follow that path. We understand that work, it's work, and
right.
At any rate, we don't want someone participating and not doing their job. That's not our goal. We understand that if we dedicate some time doing certain activities, we have to, wrap it up and get our work done. So, but going back to your question, I think it comes from maybe being flexible, being a little more flexible. Some employees want to participate, but they just don't have the time.
Yeah. So maintain it. Make sure that we're making sure it's that we maintain that it is a top priority, but then also making sure that we're flexible with employees, because as you mentioned in your previous answer, people are doing all these different jobs, and some have significant time constraints on when they can and can't do things. Kind of hard to pull a police officer off the streets, so making sure that we're flexible with that. Is that what you're saying? Wonderful. What would you say to someone who's watching this to try to inspire them to join one of our ERGs, or to think of an ERG that they could create?
I would say if you want to participate on any of the ERG groups, reach out to any of the members. There's a bulletin in the elevator with contact information. It's just a quick email. And as far as for Somos, if you contact me or anybody from our group, we can add the person to the meetings, and kind of explain a little bit what the group is about and if they would like to participate.
When do you guys typically meet?
We meet on once a month on a Thursday.
Once a month on Thursday. Okay.
So it's just 1 hour, an hour and a half max per month.
Perfect. Anything you want to add that maybe I've missed that you think is really important to get out to employees and coworkers about the importance of ERGs or Somos as something maybe coming up, or things that you've just accomplished?
No, not really.
Perfect.
Just maybe thanking all of you guys for starting the employee resource groups and for being an ally too in all of our events.
Well, thank you sincerely for the work that you do. I mean, you do an amazing job, and I know in talking to Director Haggerty, she loves you and the work that you do, and I do as well on a day-to-day basis. But just to see how you and the entire Somos ERG have really got up, but then got up and running. I mean, it's really fun to see City Hall packed with families and young people who are there to celebrate their artwork, who probably, most of them had probably never walked into City Hall. And to say that this is your City Hall, I mean, I think you're doing so much more with that ERG group than just inside kind of the four walls of being a city employee. You're really bringing it out to the community, and it's really, really special to see. So on behalf of myself, administration, I know Director Hunter and HR and our city council, we're really proud of the work that you do in the Somos ERG, so thank you.
Thank you.
And again, to those watching, I would just say, if you are interested, you want to join one of the existing employee resource groups, or maybe you're thinking there's an employee resource group gap that you want to fill with a new group, please step forward. You can reach out to those existing members like Wendy of an ERG, or you could reach out to Sharice Hunter, the Director of HR, to start maybe a new employee resource group. Thanks for joining us for our Heroes and Sheroes podcast. Have a wonderful day. Hello, my name is Tom Maxmer. I'm honored to be the mayor of the City of Rockford. This is our Heroes and Sheroes podcast. I am really excited for all of you and for me today. I get to be with one of my favorite City of Rockford employees. We're here with Rebecca. So Rebecca, tell me a little bit, I want to know a little bit more about you. I don't have to ask which department you're from. I think the uniform gives it away.
Yes.
But would like to know a little bit more about you. How long have you been on the department? Kind of your matriculation through the ranks of the department.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me.
Thrilled to have you.
Very excited to be here to talk about this topic because I think it's fantastic. I was hired in 2009 with the fire department and was very happy to be a part of this organization as somebody who was born and raised in the city and in and out of the community, and went away for a little bit for school, but then came back. So very excited to be a part of this department and serve the community. As I started out on West State Street, the training academy, learned how to be a firefighter. I had really no previous experience, so that was exciting. And then over the years became the paramedic and rode the ambulance for a little while. In 2018, promoted to lieutenant, and I spent some time, 2 or 3 years downtown, either at Station 2 or Station 1 as a lieutenant. And then in 2021 became it's kind of come like full circle, where now I am the training coordinator. So I'm back at the training academy where I learned how to be a firefighter, teaching others how to do this job. So it's been really exciting.
Wait, so are you who I need to be upset with about what I need to do this weekend?
Maybe. How about I'll say, sure, yeah, you can be upset with me about it, but it's going to be fun.
There's not going to be so just so everyone's aware, what's the exact title of what this weekend is? It's like field training.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a experience, an interactive experience on what we do.
I feel like it's a setup. I think there's going to be cameras.
I mean, it's exciting.
You're not
'cause we
denying any of this.
Maybe put you in some turnout gear and show you around the training ground, and put you through some evolutions where we can teach you some skills. I mean, you never know. You might have to hop on a truck someday and spring into action. We'll
I really
see.
feel like my ankle hurts right now, my back.
I mean, we'll take it easy.
But no, this is exciting. Thank you for giving us a brief snapshot of the history of you and your matriculation through the department. We are talking in this series of podcasts about our employee resource groups, our ERGs, and wanted to first find out what ERG are you part of, about how long have you been part of it, and do you play a specific role in that ERG?
Yes. So I participate with our Kaleidoscope group, which is our LGBTQIA plus employee resource group for the city. I have actually been a newer member to this committee within this past year. And then I act in the role of the advisor. So what that is basically a supporting role for our individuals who are kind of taking the lead and making our meetings happen and really creating change within our city. And I think that They don't really need me that much because they do a phenomenal job. But I'm very fortunate to kind of act as a liaison and a support to whatever the ERG needs.
Awesome. Well, thanks for doing that. What does diversity, inclusion, and belonging mean to you?
So it's interesting, you think about the definition of diversity, inclusion, belonging, and it doesn't, I've always tried to maybe make something unique in my own head to really kind of like capture the true essence of what they truly mean. I think what they mean to me, outside of the definition, is, they mean that there's hope. For me, diversity, depending on what setting it is, whether it's in the Rockford Fire Department, when we recruit our employees, we want to be a reflection of our community. Diversity in a meeting room might be a difference of opinion. Diversity, has a lot of different definitions where it's applicable. Inclusion being more of an act and making people feel included, and then belonging is that feeling of like, I should be here, right? So it means a lot to me in the sense that if there's ever going to be a world where diversity, inclusion, belonging is truly embraced, it gives me hope, because I think that's where we learn. I think that's how we educate ourselves about other people. And, you look around even the world today and what's happening in other communities and other countries, and you think to yourself, if we could accept each other for our differences and learn maybe a little bit about your world or your culture or your background or your story, then I feel like that makes us in turn, create just a better place. And whether that's just the city of Rockford or the whole universe, it is something I think that's very important.
So that's some beautiful thoughts. I really like that, especially it's just so apt for what's going on right now. Mm-hmm. I want to jump around a little bit because that spurred a thought, and I just want to make sure it's consistent. This is a little bit selfish for me, to be honest with you. So I really genuinely love that idea of truly being embraced, kind of meeting people where they're at and appreciate them for who they are. I will say, I think City of Rockford, we've made, and when I say City of Rockford here, I'm talking more as like an organization,
sure.
1,100 plus employees. I think we've made some small strides to being a better workplace, but I think we have like a long way to go.
Sure.
Where do you see that we could go to make that, truly more embraced, being that place? We may not be able to do it for the universe, right?
Right.
We'll work on that tomorrow.
It's a Tuesday problem.
It's a Tuesday problem. But what could we do here as an organization?
Well, I think the first thing that comes to my mind is that we're talking about it, right?
Yep.
I think that the more that we can talk about it, the more that we can create the conversation, the more that people will understand and our employees will understand that, hey, maybe I want to see, how I could learn about this group or this culture. With the employee resource groups, I think it's a fantastic idea. I think that some people feel like these employee resource groups are specific to only that group of people. And so I think one thing that we've been really trying to push out there is you don't have to be a member of the LGBTQIA plus community to participate in the employee resource group. We have a ton of allies that support our community, support this employee resource group, and that's important too. So I think that the more that we can reach out, educate, continue to have the conversation, I think that will just continue to grow over time, and I think it has already.
Awesome. So you just used the word ally that I think gets used a lot. Mm-hmm. And I may even fall in the category of what it means, but you don't know what it means. You hear allyship. What does that mean to you?
So I've had a lot of allies in my life, and thank God. If I didn't have people who allied with me, whether they completely understood maybe what I was going through before I came out to my family, they stood behind me, and they grew with me, and they educated with me, and they tried to create some sort of understanding about what I was going through.
Right.
It's almost like friendship, right? It's just supporting people where they are. Being an ally is how we create belonging, in my opinion.
Wow.
Because I feel like when you have, I mean, when you walk into the room, where you gravitate towards the people who support you back, and you support too, so right? We all kind of congregate with that group. When we create that culture, that ally, those friendships, those resources, then I think that belonging piece really kind of comes like full circle. And anybody can be an ally. Allies are also individuals who might have someone in the LGBTQIA plus community in their family, their immediate family, or a distant relative or no one at all, that they just feel that they want to educate themselves, which I find absolutely fantastic, right? I can be an ally of another group because I want to learn about other cultures, other organizations, right? So I think that ally piece is incredibly important, especially when you talk about what we can do as a city organization for our city employees to bolster diversity, inclusion, belonging, is kind of find those allies and try to get them involved as well.
No, I appreciate that. I think it's one thing that I think I shouldn't say you all. I should say I don't feel like I've always met my mark on that. And I think just continuing to improve, continuing to get to know people, continuing to appreciate people for who they are, I think is so critical. And I love your definitions and thoughts around that. So thank you. What has influenced your influence and or motivated you to join this specific ERG?
Well, I would say my motivation to be a part of this employee resource group, number one, is personal, because I am a member of the community. Married my wife in 2019, and very proud of that moment in history for us. And so number one, yes, it is very personal to me. As a city employee, my motivation to be involved with this group is because I want to give back, and I want to create change, and I want to invest in this organization, because I think that one thing that has always been probably part of my my network, my roots, my upbringing, is that you always leave things better than when you found them. And so for me, being involved in this is quite simply like, hey, I have an opportunity to maybe create some change, maybe create some awareness and influence and education, and I don't think there's any way that I could have walked away from that.
That's awesome. What advice do you have for maybe a fellow employee, coworker, one you know, don't know, who may be watching this, who's thinking they may want to join an ERG, or maybe they're thinking there's a big gap in ERGs. There needs to be a new ERG.
Absolutely.
What's your advice to them?
So obviously, reach out to me. Find my contact information. I can get anyone connected. We've got emails that will be coming out from our group. So please, if you're interested in being a part of Employee Resource Group, whether it's ours or someone else, reach out. We can get you connected. If you do feel like is a group of individuals that would like to create an employee resource group, then I would say that channel goes through our HR department, and there is a process for that. And that's just filling out the application for the ERG, and there's a couple specifics that entails, the number of people and the mission and the goal and the objectives of that group to get approved from the city. And then I would say to anyone, go for it if you feel like there's a need or a space where we can continue to grow that diversity and that we continue to grow that education and awareness and inclusion for people, then I would say definitely reach out.
Awesome. Well, you mentioned earlier, and as we wrap up, that you want to invest back into an organization, want to make it better. I'll just say unequivocally, you make Rockford City a lot better.
Oh, well,
thank you for the work that you do every day. And when I say that, I think certainly the fire department, but our whole organization. So thank you for the work that you do and the impact that you have outside of just the Rockford Fire Department, but on us as an organization. Appreciate all the work that you do on behalf of the city.
Thank you.
And for those watching, again, I would say we want you to be part of our employee resource groups. Also, if you think there's a gap in our employee resource groups and you want to start a new group, we'd love that too. We have some phenomenal city employees doing great work that would love to connect with you and walk you through that process. And just thank you for following today's podcast for Heroes and Sheroes.